Cheide.
For this 3-minute rules, we will be looking at the combat phase, and in particular the rules for insane courage and inspiring presence. All of this can be found on pages 55 and 107 in the large 8th edition rulebook. Insane courage. If a unit rolls double ones for its break test, it passes the break test regardless of any other modifiers. Occasionally in the middle of a battle, even the humblest regiment becomes filled with steely courage and discipline, deciding to stand their ground no matter the odds, and double ones is used to represent that. Let's go back to this example of the dwarves beating the high elves 7-6. In this case now the dwarves have steadfast, so they will be rolling on a leadership of 8. Even in this situation, were they to roll double ones, they would automatically pass their break test and stay put. On some occasions, however, double ones insane courage is the only way for a unit to avoid an inevitable flee. For the sake of this example, let's say that the high elves are not steadfast and that for some reason they lost this combat 12-1. They lost by a massive 11 points. Now an 11-point loss would modify the high elf leadership of 8 down to a -3. Obviously they cannot roll a -3. This is going to be an automatic flee. However, they are given one final chance for insane courage. If they roll double ones in this situation, they will remain firm in place. Otherwise, they will flee. And this is the beauty of insane courage. No matter how horribly a combat goes for you, there is still a possibility, a tiny possibility, that the unit may nevertheless roll and pass its leadership with insane courage and not flee the combat. Inspiring presence. Now this is the benefit that you have of having your general close to your unit that is in combat. Providing that the general's not fleeing, all friendly units within 12 inches use the general's leadership instead of their own. For this example, let's say that this figurine over here is our high elf general. Now the general is within 12 inches of the unit that was defeated, so the unit is now able to use the general's leadership score for their break test. In this example, we will say that this general has a leadership of 10. Now we need to go back to the combat resolution, and we see here that the high elves still lost by 1 point. They are not steadfast, so the new modified leadership from the general goes from 10 points down to 9. The high elves need to roll a 9 or less. And we rolled a 9, so because of the general's inspiring presence, that unit of high elves remains in place. One additional rule to inspiring presence. If your general is in fact a large target, like this prince on Griffin here, then the range for inspiring presence moves from 12 inches up to a maximum of 18 inches. So you see here now that this general is pretty far away, about 16 inches away, but because it is a large target, it is able to provide that unit with the general's leadership. And with that, we come to the conclusion of our 3-minute rules on the combat phase, and in particular the rules on insane courage and inspiring presence. Well, thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of fantasy.